Hey guys, Rob here with 3D Printscape. So today I'm going to show you how to install a second Z-axis rod on your 3D printer. It's great for 3D printers like these Ender 3s that have just the rod on the one side and it's just using wheels on the other side like this one here. And even when you tighten everything down really good, you still get some movement, and then you risk over tightening it if you're just going that route. The Z-axis rod that I went with, it has a separate motor and then a separate just a mount for the power supply here off of the back. So it worked out pretty well. I was pretty pleased with the results overall, and it wasn't a huge investment on the printer. I've definitely bought more expensive mods for the printer than that. But yeah, like I said, overall I'm happy with it. Alright, so before we get started, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Before we get started, I did want to make a note that the instructions that come with this set aren't great at all. So there's a lot of trial and error. I was able to tweak some things as I was going to get better results, so please pay attention to that stuff. It's also worth noting that you do want to have your separate set of Allen wrenches. The Allen wrenches that come with the set don't cover everything you need, and that you want to make sure that every bolt and nut that you take off, that you know exactly where it's at, because it counts on you reusing a lot of those, and I misplaced one on accident and I was kind of out of luck there. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's go and get started. Before we get started with the install process, I want to talk about why the second axis adds value. Basically, when you're only driving it off of the one side, which we are here, this side, even if the wheel is tight, which this is right now, you still have some movement in it. And then you're also risking damaging these wheels if you over tighten it, where if you've got the same driver on both sides, it's going to keep it consistent. I know after a couple prints this loosens up and then I get some movement on this side. Like if I was to look at my other Ender 3, it's got decent movement on it right now. If you have the BL Touch or CR Touch or basically any of the auto bed leveling kits like I do on this one, the movement isn't necessarily a huge issue if it's being accounted for, but still being able to avoid it will help a lot. It's just going to give you the extra edge on the print, just make it that much better, versus having to try to overcompensate for some of the shifts, or if it's really bad, which I've seen before, when it's printing, it can actually shift up on one side, which will also cause other issues even if you have the BL Touch. So this kit is going to eliminate that issue entirely by having it on a rod on both sides. Alright guys, so the first thing I wanted to do here is kind of take a look at the kit I purchased. I was going back and forth between getting one that has the second stepper motor or one that is belt driven at the top. I ended up going with one that had the second stepper motor, mainly because I think over time that extra stress on the first one could cause issues, and overall the reviews were pretty good on this one. So what comes in the box basically is your second stepper motor, brackets to move the power supply, your new Z-rod for the other axis, and then all of the connectors and everything to make this usable, plus a Y splitter for the actual connection to the stepper motor going from the other side as well, which is right here. Basically, you've got the one coming in and then it feeds both steppers. So it's advertised as not needing any firmware changes, and from the way it works, I believe that will be the case, but I'll verify as I'm going through. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the install process. Alright, so the first thing we need to do here is remove the power supply. So there's just two bolts, one right here and right here, that we'll just unscrew and then kind of set the power supply off to the back a little bit. All right, now that that's done, I wanted to make two notes here. One is I'd like to keep track of everything I'm working with by putting it in this magnetic case here, or bowl. Just helps keep it organized. And two, I'm going to try my best with the camera angles. It is sometimes hard to actually get in there and show you exactly what I'm doing while working, but I'm going to do my best there. All right, now that that's done, we can go ahead and start the assembly. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and mount the coupler to the stepper motor. So it's just going to go on here like such, and then we're going to tighten this bolt right here. And then you want to align it so that it's going to right about the bottom of there, and then the actual Z-rod will sit on that All right, now you want to get that snug but not too tight. But there we go. All right, then once that's in place, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and put the adapter arm on it. This is basically going to just set on the stepper motor like such. It should be set up so that the cabling comes out of the opposite side here. And then you've got the 2 screws that screw this into place. It's the only 2 screws that will actually go into the stepper motor that are in the bag. Alright, now that that's on, next thing we want to do is go ahead and loosen these up a little bit so that we can go ahead and put the stepper motor in place. It's going to basically go right here, and then we're going to tighten everything back down. Alright, then once that's in place and those bolts are going back into the actual rail, we can tighten it down. I'll just tighten each side down a little bit and then finish tightening it down right afterwards. Alright, now we got to remove the pulley screw fittings from this side of the axis. So basically it's going to be where these wheels are. So if I turn this corner, it's going to be right here, and the one that's right here for the eccentric nut there. So we got to take those off. Alright, to do that you're going to need another Allen wrench that'll fit here and a 5/16 wrench. So once those are all off, I've got to undo this carriage a little bit right here so that I can get this last screw out, because we're going to have to use the longer screws that are provided here. Alright, so just so you guys can see what I'm doing here really quick, I took out the one screw on this side and I loosened the one on this side so that I can pop this up and take this bolt out. And then I'm going to grab one of the longer bolts that came with the set and put the washer back on and slide this back through and tighten that back up. Try not to damage the axis in the process. You don't want any extra nicks or anything like that for the wheels. And then still, guys, as a reminder, make sure you keep track of everything that you're taking off here, because if you lose it, there's not many spare parts for much of anything. Alright, then once that's back in place, you're going to want to go ahead and grab the Z-axis connector adapter and then go ahead and tighten down these bolts. They seem pretty loose. Right. And then we'll go ahead and put the Z-rod through here and then get it aligned so that it will sit down at the motor. Let me kind of rough fit this really quick. Alright, so before we can try to tighten anything down here, what we want to do is go ahead and assemble this whole fixture just so it's all together. I'm just going to loosely set everything in place for now, then go back through and tighten it back up. But first thing we want to do is go ahead and put one of the spacers in here, then the wheel, and then our eccentric nut. Then I'm going to put this bolt back on. Again, I'm not tightening anything down yet. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over here. We'll take the long bolt at the top, go ahead and slide it in place, put one of the spacers in, go ahead and put the wheel in, then the spacer on the other side, and then that should line up. And then we'll just put the bolt in here loosely, and then we'll do the bottom one the same way. So the bolt, spacer, wheel, spacer, and then it should go through here. And then that will sit here like so. Now you should be able to turn this and it should freely move on the axis here. Again, this isn't all tightened down yet, but that's where we're at. Now that this is loosely in place, what we're going to go ahead and do is grab the bearings for the top here, go and put it in place. All right, so we'll go ahead and slide this in here. Make sure that the bearing sits there on the actual Z-rod, and then we'll turn the nuts here so that they actually slide into the grooves. And then we'll tighten them in from this side right here. All right, now that this is in place, let's go ahead and tighten everything up. Before you do, you want to raise the axis as high as possible, just to keep everything straight when you're tightening everything down. This is a 3mm bolt in here. All right, then once that's tight, you'll want to tighten down this little bolt here as well. If you're having issues getting this on, you're going to want to loosen this bolt. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten all of this back up, and then we'll go ahead and put the spacer on the other side as well. All right, once that's in place, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up this bolt down at the bottom to hold this all together. All right, now that that's in place, what we're going to do here is, I guess you can do one of two things. First thing is you could go ahead and mount the power supply back in place if you want. I'm going to hold off on that until I get the other side in place. Then I'll go back, mount the power supply, and then run the power cables. All right, so let me go ahead and turn the printer. All right, so we're basically just going to do the same thing on this side as we did over here. We're going to just put the spacer here to help keep things smooth. So we'll go ahead and get that out. Remember, this uses a 3mm Allen wrench. All right, so we'll go ahead and put the nuts on it really quick. And then I'm going to loosen this part up right here a little bit as well, just to make it a little bit easier to get in place. And then just kind of slide it in place here. The other way you could do this is you can just put the nuts inside here and then align it and then try to put the screws through. I don't know which one is less of a pain, to be honest. I'm going to lower this a little bit so I can work with it a bit easier. All right, and then once that's in place, I'm going to raise this back up. Then I will push that in, and then we'll go ahead and tighten up these screws. All right, once that's done, we'll go ahead and tighten up this little bolt here, holding that bearing in place. All right, now this should be able to move freely up and down. If it's getting caught on anything or you're getting resistance, you might have to make adjustments, either tighten up some of the wheels, but this feels pretty good. All right, so now let's go ahead and run the cables. All right, now the cabling part's gonna be pretty easy. All we need to do here is disconnect the cable going to our stepper and plug that into here, and then run a cable over to each of the two steppers. And just connect that in. If you have any type of cable management or anything like that, you'll have to clean that up as well. My other printer, I've got the cable management only going up to the top, not underneath here. All right, so now with that in place, let's go ahead and turn the printer again, and then we'll attach the power supply. All right, I went ahead and zoomed in on this a little bit. Basically, the power supply is going to sit off to the side like this, and it's going to connect like it would. So we got to put this bracket on here so that it goes right like that. And then this one sits off to the side just like this and goes onto that bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these first. Now again, this is a modified power supply cover, so it might be a little bit different with the stock one, though it looks like most of it will line up because I'm looking at the other printer right there. So we'll just go ahead and mount this right here. So I'm going to take off this one screw and then put this in place. All right, I did have to get one of the longer screws from the kit, just keep that in mind. All right, then on the other side here, we're going to mount this like so, which means it's going to connect right here, and we can use the screw that came out of the first one or one of the other screws in the kit, your choice. Right, and then I'm going to rough fit this to make sure everything aligns first. And that looks good. Everything looks like it'll connect. It is worth noting here that this does have two holes, and my fixture only had one. I'm assuming it's also made to work with the Ender 3, not just the Pro, and possibly the V2. So that's why it only has the one. All right, now we need to go ahead and get the 4 screws so that we can mount this in place. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rough fit these really quick. All right, now that those are in there, we got to go ahead and line these up and tighten everything down. All right, one more tip here really quick. If you try to put these screws on over here first and tighten it down, you're going to run into hitting the bolts over here. So do this side first. All right, and once those are tight, we can go ahead and connect our power here. Just barely long enough, but still long enough. All right, now let's go ahead and plug it in and see how it works. So I guess before that, one thing I did want to make a note is make sure you take a look at your axis here and make sure that it's level and that it can move freely. If not, you're going to have some issues. All right, so let's go and plug it in. All right, now we should be able to go ahead and move the axis, make sure that it's moving smoothly. Just go in the menu, movement, move, and we want to move the Z. We'll go down 1. All right, so that seemed to work just fine. We'll do 10. Now we want to keep an eye out and make sure that both of the steppers are actually turning, which they are, and that things are going smooth. We also want to just look to see that the wheels are turning a little bit and that it's staying straight on the way down. If it's not, you might have to make some adjustments to how tight the wheels are. You might have to adjust the eccentric nut here, but when it's done, it should be pretty smooth and quiet. It's also worth noting that this Z-Rod did not come with any lube on it, so I would go ahead and recommend you going through that process. This is what I use. I've got a video covering how to actually do that I'll link to below. But overall, I'm just wanting to go all the way down and then all the way back up to make sure that we're not hitting any snags and everything is running freely. All right, so since we're down here, I'm going to go ahead and auto home really quick, and then I'll raise it from there. Now, once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and raise it back up and just verify that everything stays smooth all the way back up. Then we should be good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and raise this back up. I'm just going to go up 100 once. And it is sounding pretty good, so I think we're good. Alright guys, so that covers the process of adding a second Z-Rod to your 3D printer. The process might have seemed like a lot, but it really wasn't that bad once you get to it. There's just a lot of little pieces that you have to consider. If you have any questions about the process, you can go ahead and leave a comment below or join us on Discord. I'd be happy to help you out.